Hi, it's me. It's been a while, I know, but that's kind of what this video is all about. I realized the last time I talked was in my Thanksgiving Ramble video. And guess what? This is going to be another Ramble video because a lot has happened in like the last 2 months. So I think this one is going to be a little bit longer than the other one. Probably, I hope a little bit less than half an hour, but I'll try not to go over that. And again, I wrote down some notes of what I want to say, so it won't just be completely incoherent. But in December, I went to Pax Unplugged, the board game convention in Philadelphia. Mixed feelings about Philly personally, but for completely sports-related reasons. But PAX was a lot of fun. I carpooled with my friend Jacob /Pomadeppin /Pommy/Pom because he also lives in Connecticut. We're both proud members of the CCC, the Connecticut Card Cavalry. And I can hear the conch shell playing in the background. We were both, I don't know if working for is the right term here, but we were demoing games and helping run tournaments for Restoration at this convention, which was an absolute blast, to say the least. I got some comfortable shirts with Restoration stuff on it, which is very fashionable as always, and it was just amazing to try to pass my passion for Unmatched and all the other stuff that Restoration does onto new audiences, I guess. And it's so amazing when someone is playing Unmatched for the first time and then they draw a certain combination of cards and it all just clicks in their head and they're like, oh, this is what this character is supposed to do. I remember I was teaching these three gentlemen how to play. They were doing a free-for-all. It was, I think, maybe Buffy versus Dracula versus Alice. And when the Dracula player drew one of their beast forms, they looked at me and went, what the heck? And I was like, yeah. And then Alice just stormed in, hit him for a little bit of damage, but had one card in their hand. And then just got beast formed from almost full health. And the Alice player was just like, I can't even be mad about that. That was awesome. And so just moments like that. It's just seeing people get hooked on the game is a lot of fun. But in terms of some other non-unmatched stuff that I got into at PAX, I played some of the other Restoration games. Believe it or not, there are other ones. I played Buried Treasure for the first time. That is a mean game that I'm very bad at, but I love raccoons. They're actually my favorite animal. So the art on that game is amazing. I didn't play this at PAX, but in the last month I played Return to Dark Tower for the first time, and that was also exciting because that was a game that I didn't really know a lot about, and I was like, this looks very, very complicated, and I just don't want to deal with it. I never said this out loud, but in my head I'm just like, this game's probably just massively overrated. It's $200 and there's a big piece of plastic that lights up and makes sounds and spins around and spits out various bones. And there's an app that connects to it, and that might be fiddly. But then I actually played it for the first time, and it's a completely simple game, very easy to learn. I learned and played it in under 2 hours, and there was a pizza break somewhere in there. Yes, there was pineapple on the pizza, and the game is actually really fun. I am hesitant about bringing tech into board games just because when I play board games, I like to be I don't want to be looking at a screen. I want to be looking at the board. But there are certain exceptions to this. One Night Ultimate Werewolf is a great example of a board game that has awesome app integration, and the Dark Tower app is phenomenal. It actually does a lot of heavy lifting, especially in terms of combats and dungeons, especially with the cards that show up there. That it just makes it a lot easier than doing things in person, so that works really well. The tower actually is awesome, completely worth the hype, and it's such a fun game, and I can't wait to play it again after Pom paints his damn minis. I got a bunch of Oink games. I've got Horsey Horsey Go Go Go, otherwise known as Ready Set Bet. And turns out my putting all of my bets on one horse and hoping that it pays out does not work. So one day that 10 horse is going to hit, and one day I'll win big. Mark my words, Jeremiah. Jacob and I got into this TCG called Gem Blenders. We just stumbled across this booth, and this woman named Q was we were wearing our Unmatched shirt. She was like, yo, that's so cool. Are you guys here with someone? And we explained we were with Restoration and running tournaments and stuff like that. And then she was like, okay, do you want to hear about my game? And in my head, I'm like, oh, great. We're going to hear this pitch, and then it's going to be awkward, and we're like, yeah, that's cool. Well, maybe we'll come back. But then we listened to the pitch, and it was actually a really cool game. And we sat down, and I walked away with 4 different boxes from that game. So it's a fun TCG. I think they're getting an official release from a beta or something. There's a Kickstarter coming out in March. So I'll probably link the socials in the description if I remember that, and you can go check them out. The art is really, it's all the lore, everything about this game is just from Steve, the guy that made it, and he did all the art and stuff. And it's simple, but it has a certain charm to it. And I think when the game comes out, they're going to have colorful backgrounds and foils and things like that. I walked away with 3 foils from that game, which don't ask me how. It's just a miracle that it happened. And the decks I run revolve around a card that looks like a cow. So that's very on brand to me. By the way, beefy bungus. That's just a nonsense phrase I've been saying for a while. I did Google it to make sure that it wasn't a slur on the different side of the world before this. And to my knowledge, it isn't. It's just it's like chungus. It's a fake word, and I like it. It's beefy bungus. So that's where that comes from. I also got into Clask, which I cannot beat grown men in, but I can beat my 11-year-old nephew in. So go figure. In terms of some embarrassing convention stories that happened at PAX, I fell out of a chair at the Restoration dinner at Maggiano's. I always fall out of chairs at conventions. Just, this was a very inopportune time. But basically, I was trying to bribe Suzanne Sheldon because we got to see something that isn't publicly announced yet. And I was trying to bribe her into just letting me have it. So I gave her $20 of Jacob's money, and I stood up and said, Suzanne, it's mine now, right? Deal. And tried to take it from her. And he was like, hell no. She took the money and then kept the thing. But it was Jacob's money, so I didn't care. And as I stood up, my chair fell over because my backpack was on it, and because I had purchased games that day. The backpack was a little bit heavier than I thought it was going to be, and the chair was also a little bit lighter than I anticipated. So my chair went foomp, and I went to go sit back down, and there was no chair there. The chair was on the floor. And when it happened, there was just that moment where, I went slightly past where the chair should have been, and in my head, I'm just like, oh no, you're done for. And I swear I fell backwards for 10 seconds. Time just stopped, and I was like, oh no, bro. And then I hit the ground, immediately just start laughing. Everyone's like, yo, is he okay? Is he okay? And Gary's just sitting back. He's like, what a fucking stooge. He's fine. So that was the story about how I fell out of a chair at this particular convention. But in terms of other embarrassing stories, I ran into actual YouTube celebrities. There's someone that played in a couple different tournaments named Ronnie, who I talked to because she was at the booth a lot. And then she DMs me on Discord a week later after PAX, and she was like, yo, you didn't tell me you were a celebrity. And I was like, I'm not. I just like this game. But I ran into actual YouTube celebrities. at PAX. And like it's weird because when you see something that like doesn't fit into the location that you're in, like you're not expecting to see it, like you don't believe that it's there. So basically, Jacob and I are walking around the Philadelphia Convention Center. We're looking for where we can go to get our Vax check wristbands. And I see people that look like Matthew Jude and Paula Deming walking the other way. And in my head, I do like 4 takes. I'm like, there's no way that's them. And I don't want to like embarrass myself if it's not them. And be like, yo, it's you guys. And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, oh. So I wait for them to walk past. I turn around and I yell, Matthew. Because if it is Matthew Jude, he'll turn around. And if it's not, he'll keep walking and it'll save me the embarrassment. But it was Matthew Jude and he turned around. And in my excitement, I was like, oh my God, it's you. And it's also, and then I forgot Paula Deming's name. And that was really embarrassing because like I watched the Watch It Played channel religiously because our Lord and Savior Rodney Smith, he makes that good content, and he's brought on a lot of other he brought on more people to the team that they have a very diverse selection of videos, and I really appreciate what that does for the board gaming community. But Paula and Matthew are both very nice people. When I talk to them on the street, I took a selfie. Maybe I'll edit it in here. Maybe I won't, but it's on my Instagram, I believe, if you want to go see it. So yeah, I'm not going to forget Paula's name ever again. But then, like, the next day, Jacob and I are also walking outside the Philadelphia Convention Center, and I see Matthew Lees and Tom from Shut Up and Sit Down. And they're, like, I don't want to say, like, a little bit more recognizable, but it might just be the Britishness. And I think Matthew Jude is also British, so maybe that doesn't hold up. But I saw them, and I got really excited because I was like, Shut Up and Sit Down. Shut Up and Sit Down is also the reason I got into Unmatched. If people don't know that, that's my Unmatched origin story. They said you can play as the Raptors, and I was like, yes. But anyways, again, I wait for them to walk by, just in case it's not them. And I turn around, and I yell, Matthew Smith. Because another member of their group, his name is Quentin Smith, and Matthew's name is Matthew Lees. But in my excitement, I said Matthew Smith, which is not his name, and it took a selfie with them again. But yeah, I DM'd their Instagram account an apology because I felt really bad because we walked away and Palm was like, what did you call him? And I was like, Matthew Smith. He was like, that's not his name. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's Matthew Lees. And I was like, oh no. So I embarrassed myself several times at PAX, like I always do. But life isn't about getting upset at your own foolishness. It's about rolling with the punches and being able to laugh at yourself and have a good time. Some other fun things, just to wrap up this PAX conversation, because I know it's probably been talking a little bit too long about this, but I just have some good memories I want to like solidify into this YouTube video so that I can watch it in like a year from now and be like, oh, my first PAX was so special. I got to see what $140 worth of Taco Bell looks like, which is not as much as you might think. And I also got a bunch of free stuff. As you can see, my room is now decorated with the Restoration Games banners. I have the Dark Tower banner, the Key to the Kingdom banner, Fireball Island, and of course the Unmatched. Those are all prices that were hanging up in the booth because they didn't want them anymore. So I said, heck yeah, I'll take them. And now Unmatched. I love Unmatched. I did get rid of the tower just because I was like, I want a place to put the poster from my favorite movie. So I put it there and then put some candles there. This video is proudly sponsored by Zero Skater 12, who gave me that candle there that's lit. It's like leather scented, and he said, you're a cow, you might like this. And it's like a human enjoying a human skin scented candle. But we're not gonna dive into that. John, I appreciate it. It smells great. Love the candle. Go subscribe to Zero Skater 12, everyone. Back to the video. I also got tables and chairs from the restoration booth because they didn't need them anymore. And I said, I have room in my trunk and I love tables. And then Prospero was like, I could use more chairs at my store, but I can't take them with me right now because I don't have room in my trunk. And I said, Jeremiah, I got you. I'll grab those chairs for you and then bring them when I visit State College and Master Goblin Games, when I come to show up and roll all your regulars in another Unmatched tournament, which hopefully that's happening sometime in March. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, like at any point during this video, I don't blame you, because I forget that not everyone knows what I know. Basically, I'm referencing the fact that the prominent member in the Unmatched community, Prospero, is the manager of a board game store in State College, and I'm going to give him chairs when I show up at the next Unmatched tournament that he hosts. I won one last year, so look at me. And I guess just we're done with PAX now. Done talking about PAX. I got free tables. Oh, one more thing. I got a free board game bag because as we were packing up the booth, someone came over and was like, hey, this board game bag has a broken zipper. Like, does someone just want it? Like, we don't want to take it back with us. And I said, oh, sure, free bag. I love free stuff. I turn around to help someone with something. I turn back around, see Palm playing with the zipper, and I go, Palm, don't play with the zipper. It's broken. You're just going to make it worse. He fully unzips it, fully rezips it, and goes, it's not broken. And I say, what? I fully unzip it, fully rezip it. I go, it's not broken. I just got a free board game bag. So, yeah, that was PAX. You can go there and get free stuff. Not really. I spent way too much money, but anyway, it was also Hat Chowder's birthday. We went out to dinner on his birthday, and we sung him happy birthday, and I got to sit next to him and watch him shove a cheesy bread in his mouth right as we started singing to him. Man, I love that kid. Okay, so some important milestones that have happened since we last spoke. This channel has reached 2,000 subscribers, which is incredible. 2 Octobers ago, maybe 3 at this point, October of 2020, when I first started making like Unmatched videos, I had no idea I was ever going to get to this point. I was just like, no one's going to watch these. I'll do them for myself because it's fun. And then people started watching them. And if you're watching this, obviously you've probably seen them all. And I just want to say thank you, because it is fantastic. It is like beyond my comprehension, like how far this baked goods YouTube thing has come. And it really does mean a lot to me. I know wasn't really doing too well in December, and I posted that I kind of needed to step away from YouTube and just figure some stuff out and not really worry about making videos and things like that. And the support I got from that really did mean a lot to me. So if you commented on that community post, or you've been checking in to make sure I'm okay, I just want to say I appreciate you and thank you for everything. So to kind of give more context on what happened in that whole situation, I had a pretty rough December just because I kind of lost touch with who I was as a person, and I had a couple of close relationships that kind of fell apart. And that was really hard because I am a people person. I love being with people, talking to people. And I felt very alone around the holidays, which is hard because that's a time of the year when you're supposed to spend it celebrating with people that are close to you. And when I had some of those close relationships just vanish, I was kind of in this weird place and I felt a little lost. And I spent a lot of time recently like re-finding myself and kind of like rediscovering who I am and who I want to be and some of my passions. And I've kind of been rekindling the joy that's inside of me. And I'm a lot better now. So that is very good. It's very good to say as well. To kind of put everything into perspective, we're going to talk about Miss Smith right now. And this also is like actually relevant to my channel for some reason. So Miss Smith and she was my Latin teacher in high school. I had her my freshman year and my junior year. And we had a great dynamic. I would basically annoy her and make jokes and disrupt class. And she would teach me things, valuable life lessons included, as well as Latin. And the reason why this channel is called Baked Goods, yeah, this is actually like lore. Pay attention, write this down. I'm only going to say it once. So she had this rule where if you were disruptive in class or you caused some sort of mischief, some shenanigans, some tomfoolery, you had two options. You could either write a paper, like a 1 or 2 page paper, just explaining why what you did was disrespectful and how you will change your conduct to not do that behavior in the future. Or you could bring in baked goods. And you can imagine, I'm a little bit of a rebel rouser. I got in trouble a lot during that class. And guess which option I chose? I chose baked goods every single time. And it got to the point where, like, late in the year, when we had like 1 or 2 months left of school, I was bringing in baked goods like once a week. And so, my senior year of Latin, we had to make a project, basically saying goodbye to Latin, because at that point, everyone who was in that class, there were like 15 of us, had been taking Latin since like 5th grade for 8 years. Pretty deep commitment to a language. And so we had to say goodbye to it because most of us probably weren't going to keep learning it in college. Lord knows I didn't. And so the second video ever posted on this channel, I believe, is called The Decade Club. And that was my final project, my senior year of Latin. And I had to post it on YouTube so that we could show it in class. And I needed a name for my YouTube channel. So I said, Baked Goods. And then when I started making unmatched videos, I didn't change it. And then I got big enough where it was too late to change it. So now I am eternally Baked Goods. And that's how I got my name, because of Miss Smith, my Latin teacher in high school. And so Miss Smith and I are pen pals. I actually wrote her over the summer just because I wanted to talk to her. She was my favorite teacher in high school. And I was like, I want to know what she's up to. And so I wrote her. She wrote me back at the beginning of the school year for her. So in like August, I probably got it at the beginning of September. And that was when things were kind of already like not going super well for me. So I said, all right, Miss Smith, my pen pal, my favorite teacher, I'm going to write you back when I'm in a better place and I'm like actually proud to tell you how I'm doing. And so that was in the beginning of September. I finally wrote Miss Smith back last night. And that makes me really happy, just like looking at how far I've come the last couple of months. And something else that's cool, she actually sent me a baked goods sticker in her letter. So I just had to hold this here and get like a nice thumbnail or something. I don't know. The baked goods sticker. I'll put that on my laptop or something like that. So yeah, I feel mostly back to my goofy, silly self, and it's kind of hard for me to make videos when I'm not feeling like this because I don't feel creative when I'm not happy, to say. And so going forward, I'm really looking forward to just kind of doing me again and just seeing what I can spit out, and hopefully it's entertaining and hopefully insightful for all of you. And that's especially exciting because tourney season started today. It's the 20th of January when I'm recording this. Winter of Champions is live. Gotta make some videos about it, of course. So I do not want to hold myself to schedules because I do not do well with deadlines. So we're just gonna roughly say this just to give you guys something. I'll probably post like meta-ish videos on Mondays, strategy-ish videos on like Fridays, and then if I have some other thing to post, I'll post that on Wednesdays. And I'm not saying I'm going to post this every single Monday, every single Wednesday, every single Friday. I'm saying if I make a video about that topic, it'll be posted on that day, probably around 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So if there isn't a video out at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, there just won't be a video that day. And I'm just like not gonna the whole tier list thing a couple months ago was a disaster because I recorded it. There was an issue with the audio when I was editing it, and I couldn't keep up with it. And so I'm just not gonna make promises like that anymore. And hopefully that's all right. But there's like a rough semblance of a schedule out there. If you are patient, you can also just like hit the bell, and the bell will tell you when I post. But if I post, it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. And if there isn't a post there, it won't be there at all. So yeah, that's like the YouTube schedule going forward, roughly. Who knows? We'll see how sustainable that is. Probably my goal is like 4 videos a month, something like that. We'll see if that can happen. I'm also getting a new computer, which is good because this MacBook Pro, it's done me a good service the last 6 years, but it belongs in the compost bin with the other potatoes at this point. And hopefully I can get something a little bit higher tech, and that will actually like allow me to stream on Twitch competently with the right technology, which would be really fun because I'm not going to stream like competitive games or anything like that just because that is not what I want to do. I just want to have like chill, casual streams and maybe play like Marvel Snap or something like that. So yeah, that will be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to what the future holds. 2023 is going to be a great year. I want to say thank you for being here, being one of the 2,000 lovely people in my Moo Moo Meadows. Yeah. Being one of my 2,000 beefy bungi. So thank you so much. Hopefully this update was helpful, and hopefully it will inspire you to be the best version of yourself. So thank you. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching, and as always, like, subscribe, and yay!